Rusty Quill presents.
Welcome to Ain't Slayed Nobody. This is an actual play podcast intended for adults and may contain material that some people find disturbing. Please see the episode notes for content warnings and listen with care. Hey, this is Cupp here to let you know that The Between is coming to BackerKit September 24th. The ultimate version will include 3 physical books and a whole lot more. Sign up for pre-launch right now at slade.me/hunter.
Okay, we are back for The Between, and let's do some recapping really quickly. So last time we met, you were working on 2 different threats that are currently terrorizing London. The first is the St. James's Street ghost, and you have learned something about the ghost that is haunting 18 St. James's Street. You have determined that it is attached to the nursery, I believe, the sort of weird attic nursery of 18 St. James's Street, and that has given you access to a brand new move called Old Bones. You do have another question, though, that you have to answer if you want to actually help this family with the ghost, which is, how can we get this ghost to pass on to the next world? It allows you to resolve the threat by performing a quieting ritual. The other mystery is the Limehouse Lurker. This is the one where we have a small in stature vampire that has murdered a few people in the Limehouse district, and an opium den proprietor is hiding the bodies currently in her basement because she doesn't want a bunch of ruckus made with the police or the newspapers. So she came to you, and the first thing you had to figure out is if this vampire, you know it's a vampire because of the way that people were killed, you have to determine if this vampire is actually young or if it is in fact an ancient old vampire.
It was old. Very old.
Fantastic. Then in that case, you do have a new question now, which is, where is the vampire's nest? That's a complexity 4, and you can resolve the threat by infiltrating its nest and then destroying it or convincing it to leave London if you answer that question. You have one clue that might be relevant to that, which is that Ms. Innes saw a swarm of bats swirling and focusing on one part of East London. Taking a look at the hunters, I always like to check in with the hunters to see how you're all looking in terms of conditions. And these conditions are also giving us a good sense of what happened to you last time. So Mad Dog Kessler very nearly turned into a mad dog, did not though, was drained by the experience, decided to go watch some blood sport, basically, and ran into another vampire. It's sort of like underground bon vivant vampire running this, what was it, rat baiting or...
Mm-hmm.
His name's Julius, and he was taking an interest in Mr. Kessler. Mr. Melmoth has Most Beloved, the most problematic of all conditions in many ways, as well as The Sons of Another World, based off of Mr. Melmoth's interactions with a strange man in a sun mask. Mr. Melmoth last time also had a very traumatic, we'll say, encounter with Mrs. Theodora Brathwaite, and there may be some follow-up on that. Ms. Archer is marked by the Limehouse Lurker because Miss Archer is the only person to actually make contact with the vampire. The vampire actually gave Miss Archer some gardenias, I believe, while Miss Archer was looking at the bodies. Miss Archer also was trying to follow Mr. Melmoth and Mrs. Brathwaite on their night out, but got waylaid by our pesky D.I. Pettigrew. Hargrave House is in D.I. Pettigrew's sight. You're on the radar, so to speak. And finally, Ms. Innes is lost and found. I don't recall how we got that one. But,
no. I was hoping you would recall.
Well, we'll see. We'll figure it out. The other one, though, is interesting, which is marked by this sailor. We saw Ms. Innes sort of like romantic scene emerge from the Thames, if one can do that romantically.
Yeah.
But this sailor saw you changing form and was entranced. And so that's something that's going on, too. Oh, one thing I'll note, if you didn't last time, you can change your dawn questions if you wish. So change your role-playing focus. You can certainly do that. There are fewer than 3 active threats, and so I'm going to present a third threat.
Oh boy.
Our new threat is called the Creature of Cremorne Gardens. That ever-reliable rag, the Illustrated Police News, has lately been carrying stories about the so-called Creature of Cremorne Gardens, sometimes called the Creature of Chelsea Harbor, and more rarely, the Creature of Chain Walk. The creature, described as a, quote, fish-like thing, or a fish man, has been terrorizing pleasure seekers from the shadows, giving a fright when glimpsed skulking about, but rarely making direct contact. Men and women alike have been lured to the end of a nearby pier by a so-called strange song while promenading, though with no memory of how they got there once the song's spell ended. All of this could easily be chalked up to hysteria, or perhaps some elaborate hoax by someone who resents Cremorne Gardens, if not for a physical attack upon a young couple, Simon Piedmont and Beulah Thrum. Mr. Piedmont and Ms. Thrum described how the creature leapt at them from a crouched position like a cat and tore at Ms. Thrum's coat. Scotland Yard is investigating. I am going to pose the following question to Mr. Kessler. So first thing, Mr. Kessler, Cremorne Gardens is the sort of Victorian equivalent of a theme park, basically. There are gardens that you can kind of walk and, enjoy. There's a place to have big dances and all kinds of attractions and things, right? So it's kind of theme park-like.
Mm-hmm.
The question for you is, you have a connection to Thomas Simpson, the proprietor of Cremorne Gardens, having worked there one summer, probably when you first got here.
Yeah.
What was your job? And what did you do to lose it?
I think my job had to be putting on an Old West show for the people who came to the gardens. My accent was even more ridiculous than it is now in game. And I think that I lost the job by grabbing the wrong gun, so it didn't have blanks. And I actually shot the proprietor in the leg.
Oh, no. Oh, good. So Thomas Simpson got shot.
Yes.
Okay, that's great. I love it. So you have a connection to Thomas Simpson. Could be helpful or maybe not. We'll see. In any case, you do have that connection. I also think this is a really interesting threat for reasons that probably don't need to go observed, which is Hargrave House has its own creature from the sea, right? Mm. You do have one question here to start. Is this creature real or is it a hoax? It's a complexity 4, and when you answer that, it unlocks the next question. You also have an aspect of the Janus mask available on this threat called the Mask of Revelry. Each hunter narrates a flashback to the last truly fun day they had.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, the implications are it's been ages, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to go around at the start of our day phase, see what everyone's interested in doing. This might be a good time to do vulnerable move scenes if you want to clear some conditions. You might want to frame up scenes to try to get one of your questions, your dawn questions, answered positively. You may want to continue the investigations. You've got 3 active threats right now, so lots to do in London at the moment. And I have my own thoughts for the day phase too, so we'll see how it all goes. I am going to start though with Mr. Kessler. Since I put you on the spot earlier, I'll let you start now. What do you want to do to start for the day phase?
So I was thinking of, depending on how Scott feels about it, setting up a scene with Sebastian, because Raleigh thinks that Julius may have had even softer lips than Sebastian. So he's going to try to bait him to go over to the rat baiting ring, and he wants to kind of let Sebastian and Julius run into each other. Thereby, I'm participating in my vice of gambling.
Do you expect Julius Julius the vampire is easily found in the day.
So sorry.
Well, I think Kessler's not the brightest bulb, so I think he would still go there. It's dark inside the building, you know.
It's true. It is dark in the building. True, fair enough. Thoughts, Mr. Melmoth?
Yes, I imagine Sebastian would be very easily baited along those lines.
Fantastic. That sounds like a good start for the two of you then. Ms. Archer, what are your thoughts for today?
At some point today, she's going to want to keep pursuing the Limehouse Lurker because now she's just deeply intrigued by it. Maybe one of the things that she does to kind of help steady herself is whenever she has any kind of encounter, and it is something that she's comfortable talking to other people about, she'll find the person she thinks will be the most shocked, the most kind of like affected by it so that they can kind of share that, they can have that together. So she's not the only one because misery loves company. So I think she would probably, in this case, be like, I bet Moyra might not love this. So let's do that. So she might seek out Moyra.
I love it.
Wow.
If we're going to try to frame up a vulnerable move, I need to know whose vice is going to be in play. And then what does that scene look like?
I mean, your vice is confessing sins, right?
It is, yeah. And yours is public baths, which I don't know that. I mean, like, I think Viola in a public bath would just be her fully clothed.
Just sweating like crazy. Yeah.
Absolutely soaked. But yeah, I mean, happy to do confessing sins as well.
I love it.
Seems like it fits, right?
Frame up the scene then, Nick. What's going on?
First thing in the morning, maybe even just not respecting what time Moira usually gets up. She might just go look for her in her room, just like knock on her door. If she's in the house.
Well, she's on the house. She likes to like sunbathe in the early morning light. Is on the roof of the house.
Yeah. I've never been up here before. Do you do this every day?
I try when no one catches me.
It's very quiet. Very... still.
Are you here to feel the sun as well?
Yes, I am. I feel that I've become a bit pale, and it would be nice to get some colour back in my cheeks. Ooh, what a day yesterday, wasn't it? Oh, so much happened, I feel.
Yes.
Did you have any adventures? Because let me tell you, I went with Mr. Melmoth to go see these the bodies at Limehouse. And while Mr. Melmoth was up, well, doing what he does, I suppose, I was downstairs and found myself confronted by our lurker, our very quarry.
Face to face, you saw the vampire.
It was dark, and it emerged from something, I don't know. Wet squelching sounds? Who knows? Could have been anything. But then it did hand me some flowers, which is new.
Oh, so maybe it's friendly.
I suppose flowers could also be a distraction.
Is this one of your tactics that you've used in the past to romance your quarries?
Oh, it has left me a bit disquieted, I will admit, as I'm not used to anything approaching a show of affection.
But perhaps the vampire's smitten by you.
That would be a first, for sure. I think it might have some other meaning, but I will say he did also admit that he didn't know what to do.
Maybe we should try talking to him.
Perhaps. I wonder if you might, I'm realising now that I've let slip something. If you could not let Mr. Kessler and Mr. Melmoth know that I allowed one of our quarry to escape, that would be very kind of you. It's just the flower, it was very distracting and, yes.
It's our little secret. I won't tell.
I do appreciate it. And I didn't know what you meant by romancing. I thought maybe you thought you were my quarry. I have to go. I am so sorry.
Should I? I'm sorry. No, wait.
And I think it's just like off the roof.
Let's talk about conditions. I think you probably make a good case for clearing marked by the lurker. maybe it's not bothering you or anything. I'm curious, Ms. Innes, there was a lot of talk of like losing and finding things. I don't know if maybe that.
Yeah, lost and found. Sure. Yeah, because you found and lost the lurker, theoretically.
Yeah, maybe you're feeling better about
yes.
this idea psychically or something. I'm into it. Ms. Archer, you get to either stumble on a clue or invite Ms. Innes to ask you a question about your past, which you must answer truthfully, if not necessarily completely.
I feel like clue is probably the right way to go, and I'd love to get one more, at least for the Limehouse lurker. I'm open to suggestions if anyone has a thought. Is there like someplace in East London where likely there would be gardenias growing? Like any kind of like famous garden or green space or something?
Historically, I'm not sure, but I do like the idea of you could just make it a more general or generic clue of like gardenia is the key, right? Like that particular flower is like a focus or whatever, you know, or there's something about like locations of gardenias or something like that, right?
It could also be the insignia of something, you know, like the symbol for some place or...
I like the idea of like gardenias having some kind of symbolic significance, right, to the lurker. Because the last time you used that clue just to speak to its like courtship behavior.
It's a very adult thing to do. Yeah.
But maybe there's something specifically about the gardenia that's important.
So now it's the object, not the behavior. All right, I put gardenias are the key.
They're one of roughly 6 to 8 keys, yes. Mr. Kessler and Mr. Melmoth, I love your idea about how to begin your day phase. Before you all both get a chance to leave, though, maybe even as the two of you are coming down the grand staircase to the front door of Hargrave House, there is a ring, 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 ring.
How tiresome. Why do people insist on heading out and about at this time of day? I thought it was bad enough that you have dragged me up at this hour to head out to this rat baiting, but...
I like the idea that it's like 11.
Yes.
Absolutely. Sebastian will just go up and throw the door open, hands on his hips. Yes.
Standing before you in the doorway is not a manservant, not an intermediary. It is Theodora Brathwaite.
Oh.
In her signature sapphire blue. She says, "Good morning, Mr. Melmoth."
Miss Brathwaite. An unexpected pleasure. I would invite you in, except I don't want to.
I don't blame you, Mr. Melmoth. That's at least part of the reason why I'm here right now. I wanted to come by and express my deepest, sincerest apologies for my behavior last night.
Well, what is a little murder and torture between friends?
Well, I don't think we need to linger on the details, Mr. Melmoth.
Say what now?
It's so easy to let things get away from one, you know, when you're in the heat of the moment. Hello, Mr. Kessler, is it?
Yes. It's a pleasure to meet you, Miss...
I'm Mrs. Brathwaite.
Mrs.
And she goes to shake your hand.
Mm-hmm. I'll give her a firm handshake.
Hers is surprisingly firm. And she says, "You know, I'm actually from your part of the world or thereabouts."
Oh, really? What city?
Not America.
Oh.
I grew up in the Caribbean, actually.
Oh, which island? He doesn't know any of them. You could say anything.
Let's just say in my heyday, I was known as the Pirate Queen of Barbuda.
Wow, I reckon that's an impressive title.
Yes. It was a title that the papers over here used to scandalize me and to make me unsympathetic, but I think it actually had the opposite effect.
Right. Well, I can see why you two get on.
I wouldn't overstate our friendship.
Happily, my pirating days are over. I am no longer the buccaneer. No, I've actually, in recent decades, have turned my fleet and my talents to imports and exports. It's been quite lucrative for me here.
Decades. Well, you've sure aged well, Mrs. Brathwaite.
I do like that sort of flattery, Mr. Kessler. I came to speak to Mr. Melmoth, but I'm wondering if perhaps I would like for this to be, what are the two of you doing this afternoon?
Is this going to be another one of your little games, Mrs. Brathwaite? I must admit, while I enjoy games of all varieties, I would not wish to repeat last night's entertainments.
No, certainly not. I agree completely. And as I said, I feel just awful about how all of that shook out.
I can imagine.
Well, and then she gives you a gift to make amends. And it's a beautiful sapphire blue velvet box. She loves those.
Is this going to contain some memento of our adventures last night? If so, perhaps you could keep it.
No, it actually contains a rare and incredibly poisonous snake, and it's going to strike you as soon as you open the box.
Oh, open it up.
Ah, that's very thoughtful. And I shall open the box up in such a way that the lid is pointing towards her.
Nothing happens. She reaches in and she pulls out a beautiful sort of blue, kind of like a corsage or like a thing to put on your lapel, right? Flowers and ribbons and stuff.
Boutonniere.
Boutonniere, yeah, exactly. She reaches forward to pin it on you.
I suppose it goes with my outfit today. Why not?
She does it and she says, there we are. Well, I won't delay you any longer. Mr. Kessler?
It was absolutely wonderful meeting you, yes. I hope we meet again soon.
I have a feeling we will.
Yeah, I would say it was a pleasure, but I pride myself in honesty.
Oh, Mr. Melmoth. It is a beautiful facade, but a facade nonetheless. I shall crack it, fear not. Figuratively speaking.
Mrs. Brathwaite, you say that like it is some barbar attack, but in the end, isn't everything a facade and isn't the beauty of them the entire point? You are not belittling me when you say this, you are honouring me.
A very interesting insight, Mr. Melmoth. Well, good day to you both. I have to go back out to my place in the country. And she walks down the square, away.
She is lovely.
Indeed, indeed. But let's not dwell on her. You said you had a new friend to introduce me to, and I do rather like the idea of meeting a more honest former predator.
Let's check in with Ms. Archer and Ms. Ennis. So, Ms. Archer, what does the next part of your day look like?
I think that I might start to try to figure out this gardenia thing.
Oh, well, where are you going?
Cremorne Gardens does have flowers, for what it's worth.
You know what? Just to kind of kick this off, sure. I'll go to Cremorne.
I'd have to look up what part of London it's in. I don't remember. It's actually still there. It's just a bench in a tree now, but...
I guess ever since we've gotten this case, I think that Miss Innes has not stopped mentioning Cremorne Gardens, and because she didn't know that there was a theme park-esque place that they could go to, and has not stopped mentioning wanting to go to every single member of this household.
These pleasure gardens were very much the rage at this time, and many of them only lasted like a year or two because they're exorbitantly expensive to operate, and they were always quite a gamble. I believe Cremorne Gardens, the real Cremorne Gardens, only lasted like 3 years or something.
Oh, whoa. But you don't have to come with me there. I was just putting it out there.
I mean, I think that she would at least follow you there to start, you know, if you were going there anyway, because of the garden aspect of it.
So when the two of you arrive, I'll give you the sort of basic lay of the place, and then you can decide what you're going to actually do once you get there. But essentially, this is a large pleasure garden. There is most prominently a promenade, with well-manicured lawns and flower beds that you sort of walk along to enjoy the day. There is an enormous dancing platform. There's nothing going on the platform at this time of day, but when it is active in the night, it can support literally thousands of dancers. It's enormous. There is an American bowling saloon. There's a banqueting hall, a hedge maze. There is the harbor itself and a little street that goes right up to the pier called Chain Walk, burgeoning artist commune sort of space. And so that's the sort of basic lay of it. Other leads that you have, if you were interested in this particular threat, obviously we have the Simpsons who run the place, and then there is Mr. Piedmont and Ms. Thrum. They may not be at Cremorne Gardens, but you can probably find out where they live and go talk to them as well.
Were all the attacks at night? Was that specified or no?
That was not specified in the story in the Illustrated Police News. Okay. But the one on Simon and Beulah was at night.
Oh, okay.
And the other thing that happens is people get hypnotized by a song and walk out to the pier. So, yeah. Which you may know something about, right?
Mm-hmm. Perhaps we should come back at nighttime. That's when we can use that, right? And Miss Innes is pointing at the dance floor.
Ms. Archer goes pale. Yes. That is when the dancing would happen. Although, it's possible that an evening might be better spent pursuing whatever this is. Perhaps now we can speak to, Mr. Simpson.
All right. They're a friend of Mr. Kessler's, is that all right?
Oh, yes. That's true. Oh, perhaps we should bring him instead. He probably likes dancing, doesn't he? And also, I did see an American bowling saloon.
And he's American, so that he must love that.
It checks out. It's all buttoned up. Very well. If you want to come back this evening for the investigation and the dancing, then we can. It does leave us with nothing to do now. Perhaps we should go speak to this Mr. Piedmont. She's consulting notes. And Ms. Thrum.
Right. Yes. Before we go, I'd like to kind of go off running.
Oh, Miss Innes?
Looking for where the closest body of water is and what it... Okay.
It's right there. Yeah, there's a gate and then a pier.
So I run for 10 feet and then I stop.
Uh-oh.
Does it run the whole length, or is it there's...
The gardens themselves are just a big swathe of park, basically, right? But then it's surrounded by an iron gate where you have to kind of pay for entrance. On the other side of that gate is the boardwalk and pier that abuts Chelsea Harbor. So,
okay. Got it. Yes. Let's come back at night then. And we're going to go speak to the victims.
Yes. Is there something about the water specifically? I suppose this is a fish man, so that could explain it.
Right. And the lake water.
Ah.
I was just going to see if I could tell anything about where one might best exit that water.
Ah. To chart some sort of attack vector or something. Yes. Very sensible.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go speak to Miss Thrum and Mr. Piedmont.
Let's. I'm good at that.
Moira, do you want to take a dip before you head over there? I mean, you might have been able to do a little bit of preliminary research, and you will learn that Mr. Piedmont has a flat in this little street chain walk that is right next to the garden.
How crowded is it? How weird is it for someone fully clothed to go into the Thames during the day? Full of disease.
I mean, I'm sure it's weird, but maybe not exceptionally so. Yeah.
Since when have you been worried about being weird?
That's true.
Ms. Innes, you seem rather taken with this water. Would you like to go out in a boat?
Boat? No, I don't trust boats. I'm gonna go, I'll jump in. Oh!
Miss Innes, I'll give you an information move with sensitivity.
Okay, sensitivity. 9.
The question here is this actually like some kind of fish entity, or is it a hoax, right? Mm-hmm. What might you be doing in the water to detect the presence of a genuine entity in the water?
I guess maybe markings underwater or even items or things that would be left behind. Yeah, Moyra likes to leave, like, pearls and shells and things, but maybe other creatures do other things.
Yeah, no, I like that. That's good. I think that you will find something very near the banks that sticks out because it doesn't belong. It doesn't match the underwater topography, and it also just feels like it doesn't belong.
Yeah.
What you find is a piece of scrimshaw depicting a fish-like man rising from the water. Maybe it's dropped by the hoaxer. Maybe it's a treasure of an actual fish man and his fish society. Who knows, right? But you have honed in on this with your sensitivity.
Ooh. What is scrimshaw?
Oh, it's like carved bone.
Oh. Can I take it?
You can. It'll live as a clue, but we'll assume you have it. I want to know how you feel as you hold it.
Excited, because while Moyra does have access to other Selkies, if she goes out far enough to meet them, she hasn't gotten to meet and interact with other fish creatures in a long time, and so I think she's excited at potentially making a friend.
Oh, that's interesting. I'm going to give you a condition that's eager.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Ms. Archer, what do you do when Ms. Ennis just jumps in the water?
Anyone standing around, she's dropped something, move along. And then I think I'll peer over. If I can see her, I assume that it's pretty deep water.
Maybe not by the banks. It might be pretty shallow, this close to the land.
Okay, I would start to move towards wherever it seems likely she would emerge from the water. If there's a bank that I can get down onto or something, I think I would try to find and recover her.
Done and done, yeah.
Nice.
Look what I found. Look.
Yes. You'll catch your death. She's trying to hustle her to someplace more secluded, like an alley or something. Right. You typically ask when you do things that might be considered strange. That definitely is one of them. But let's see what you found.
But you asked me if I was interested in the water.
I did. That is on me. I do apologize. Let's move on.
Look what I found. This was underneath the waters.
Ah.
By the banks.
I don't suppose you recognize what kind of bone this is?
Oh. Do I recognize what kind of bone this is?
Probably not by handling it, no. I will say, as we kind of wrap up this moment, you will all hear from the gardens a rapturous crowd applauding from the observation deck where you can watch hot air balloons lifting into the air. There is a enormous red and gold hot air balloon rising up over Cremorne Gardens. And let's check in with Mr. Melmoth and Mr. Kessler in a slightly less idyllic setting.
It's a different kind of fun.
In an underground little basement space. Not super active right now. There's really nothing going on.
No, that's important. It's only the most degenerate gamblers here at this hour, I imagine.
just a couple of sad rats.
Yeah. The terrier's not even trying. It's just
fantastic. But you'll be let in. There aren't many people around. There's not really much going on. Mostly the people who are here are just using it as a favorite, somewhat hidden drinking spot. Right?
Yeah.
So,
Well, never let it be said that you don't take me to all the best places, Mr. Kessler.
No, that's not why we're here. Look, this fella, he looks like he stepped right out of a painting. And I imagine Raleigh like looking up and making eye contact with Sebastian, and then he just starts describing Sebastian. He has like the most perfectly chiseled face, and the cheekbones I can't even describe it. They're high, and they have like this curvature. And my God, and the eyes just like cut right through you, Mr. Melmoth.
That sounds perfectly ordinary to me.
I mean, it's just like he makes you feel like you would do anything for him, you know? But anyway, keep your eyes peeled. Raleigh's going to be walking him like to the darkest corners of this place. Like if there's a staircase going down to a subterranean level, they would take that.
I think as you're making your way through this little gambling den / speakeasy, kind of pub, I think there's maybe half a dozen people milling around.
Yeah.
And Mr. Melmoth, all of those people immediately stand to attention in unison and then turn to face you, and they all speak with one voice. Who are you? Or better yet, what are you?
I am simply a visitor to your fair establishment. Do I have the honor of speaking to the proprietor through these intermediaries?
You smell incredible.
I have been told that, yes.
These patrons whose eyes are all kind of like clouded over, they all approach you, cordoning the two of you, but they lean in towards you, Mr. Melmoth, and they go, amazing. I have never encountered one such as you in all my long years.
Well, I must admit I haven't encountered too many people who speak through that many mouths at once, so this is a day of firsts for both of us.
Go down to the end of the hall right over there. And they all point at once. Go down, make a left, then a right, then another left. Go down the flight of stairs you find there, and wait.
I take it all back, Mr. Kessler. You have exquisite taste in friends.
Are we seriously going there?
Oh, Sebastian is, yes.
He regrets everything he's done this morning, and he's going to reluctantly follow.
I love it.
With his hand like on the handle of his pistol.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. We'll pick up with this in a moment. So, Ms. Archer, Ms. Innes, where are you headed to? If you're not going to go walk the gardens themselves, you're going to go try to find Mr. Piedmont?
Yeah, actually, whose coat was being pawed at? Was that Ms. Thrum?
It was Ms. Thrum, who is dating Mr. Piedmont. You know where Mr. Piedmont lives. It's unclear if Ms. Thrum will be there or not.
Yeah. I think that Viola would want to go talk to him. Well, his apartment is around here.
It is on Chain Walk. And as you approach Chain Walk, which is just a little street of homes and flats that are near Cremorne Gardens, you can smell the quite strong smell of roasting coffee beans, something of an unusual smell in London. You can hear the whistle of steamer ships in the distance, the hopelessly stupid giggling of young lovers. Let's paint the scene, everyone. This street along the harbor, and just a few hundred feet from Cremorne Gardens, will become the center of an artistic movement in London in just a few short years. What do we see right now that hints at this future?
Maybe some burgeoning artists, like starting out, like trying to sell some goods, some crafts, some wares.
I think someone has taken it upon themselves just to paint the street lamps. They're not garish, but they're just not the same colour, well, as each other or any other street lamps in London. They stand out. Nice pastel colours.
It's in that moment of gentrification where the people kind of coming out of the buildings don't truly match. Like there's like a rundownness to the structures and a more put togetherness of the people. Not everybody, but like some people kind of moving through there.
I think there's some kind of, it looks like a class happening with a small group of students off to the side, and they're doing like exaggerated performance movements.
Fantastic. So you can find the flat.
Miss Archer's not wasting any time. She just like kind of goes straight up to the door and does a hearty knock.
Ms. Archer, you get up into the building and you can get to the door. Ms. Innes, there is a young painter on his little balcony.
Ooh.
And before you can get inside the building, he calls down to you and he says, "No, just stop right there."
Me?
Yes, you. Turn your head just like that, to the left a bit and up.
All right.
Good. And he has a sketchbook. He's got a canvas up. He's got a sketchbook, and he's quickly sketching you. He says, "You have very unusual features, but I'm sure you hear that all the time."
No, my features are very normal, just like everyone else's. You'll find.
By this man's accent, he's American. And he has a head of curly hair. He's handsome, but I would say in a sort of rakish way. And he's drawing, and he says, "I would love to see you in profile."
I think I just looked to Miss Archer like, what do I do?
Miss Archer, I think you're at the door. I don't think you're even like...
Oh, is this like separate?
Yeah, I think you're separated, at this point.
Oh, no.
Because Miss Archer walked stridently to the door, right?
So then Miss Innes is like looking around, like
just talking. Yeah.
Certainly. And just turns to profile.
But I don't mean down there. I mean, come up. I'll let you in.
Oh, I'll look up at where Miss Archer is and I say, I'll be right back. I sort of point at the balcony where the artist is, and I skip away.
I'm sure it's fine. Just get back to the door.
Ms. Archer, Mr. Piedmont does answer the door. He's a very fresh-faced youth. He actually smells quite strongly of lavender.
Viola leans in. No, I'm kidding. She doesn't do that.
He opens the door and he says, "Greetings, madam. How may I assist you?"
Good morning, Mr. Piedmont. I am looking for Ms. Thrum.
Ah, you are of course talking about my dear Beulah. I'm afraid she's working right now. Perhaps I could help you.
Probably not. Where does she work?
She sells flowers.
Ah. Where?
Oh, well, she's not far. Just at Cremorne Gardens over there.
It's a large place. Perhaps you could give me more specifics on her location?
Well, this time of day, there aren't many people at Cremorne Gardens. And he sort of leans in and he says, "Perhaps I can be of assistance."
Ms. Archer grabs him by the collar and shoves him against the door. I don't think that will be necessary. I think that I can find her if you just give me a little more information, perhaps what she looks like, what her shop is called.
You can ask anyone over there. They can point you to her. I don't know where she's at any given moment. She just walks around selling flowers. It's ambulatory sort of job.
She still got him by the collar. She leans in really close like he did. And does she know that you're about propositioning other women?
Why are you being so mean to me? I was just trying to be gallant.
Oh, forgive me. I am so very sorry. Well, thank you for your help. I shall be off now. Lets him go, pushes him away and turns around.
And he just looks confused and shuts the door.
So every time.
Actually, you know what, Ms. Archer, since you were asking for information, I will give you the information roll because you might stumble onto something, even though it may be inadvertent. It's going to be with presence for intimidation.
I don't think I have any presents. She's not good at intimidating. She just does it all the time. She tries it. Oh, no. I got a 6. Oh, no. Oh, no.
We'll talk about that in a moment. Let's check in real briefly with Ms. Ennis, then we'll go back to the other group. Ms. Ennis, this man opens the door. He says, hello. I'm afraid I can only pay you in whiskey. Is that okay?
Whiskey. Aye, whiskey will do.
Good. Proper whiskey, by the way, from across the pond, not what they have here.
Sorry, what do you mean?
I'm Mr. Whistler, James Whistler.
Mr. Whistler. Pleasure to meet you. Whiskey is whiskey no matter where it's from, is it not? I'm not sure I've tasted any other than that comes from here.
I'll let you be the judge. But first, you have to earn it. So let's go out to the balcony. I want to draw you in profile, and then if you stick around long enough, I suppose you can wait for me to finish the painting too.
Oh, what do you do with your paintings?
I am presently, let's just say I am on the very cusp of being a commercially successful artist. I'm almost there. I've had a lot of interest.
I'm sure. I can't wait to see what happens for you. I hope I can help. I've never done this before.
I claim you as my muse in this moment.
Oh. You shall not claim me.
Well,
No one shall claim me.
It's not what it's just an expression.
Right, sorry. I don't know many expressions.
Well, and he gets you a glass of water, and he sits you up on a little wrought iron chair on this little balcony. Okay. And he sits down and he begins drawing you in profile, sketching you in profile. What are you doing in the meantime?
While he's sketching? I don't think she drinks the water. I think she's like dipping her hands into the water and taking them out. Like if she's staying still enough and just like puts her hands in and will like flick herself with water every now and then. And weirdly like sort of trace her face with like water. And then longingly look at what is probably not any sun in the sky. I keep forgetting we're in England. And and trying to will the clouds to move.
Fantastic.
And I suppose maybe while doing that, like glancing at the streets and anyone going by and anything that there might be to notice. Something of you.
That'll work. Yeah. I like that. Make the information move with reason, I guess makes sense.
I was like, I'm here for a reason, right? Moyra, though, is getting distracted very quickly. It's a 9.
Okay. So I owe you a clue. And I just want to frame up the scene for Mr. Kessler and Mr. Melmoth. Do you follow the exact instructions you were given? Left, right, left, down, wait.
Of course. It'd be rude not to.
Mm-hmm.
You are getting deeper into the belly of this building, the subterranean portion of this building. This might be a nice opportunity to paint the scene. So much of London was built atop Roman ruins and other ancient settlement. What hints of that do we see as Mr. Melmoth and Mr. Kessler go down the stairs?
There is a little vibration in the ground caused by the passage of a subterranean river underneath.
Ooh. I think part of the floor has, maybe in building this or excavating this place, they uncovered one of those like mosaic, like tile mosaic situations that they used to have. And then whoever built the building kind of left that exposed.
Maybe there's like a young street urchin that does tours of the underground if you will but just follow him this way.
They pass by this one area where it looks like the dirt's disrupted, like little mounds, like maybe a burial site.
As you both get down to the bottom of these stairs, where you were told to wait, you find yourself in what appears to be almost like a Roman temple in miniature, and obviously subterranean. There are mosaics on the wall depicting various scenes. There is a circle of large braziers with fires burning in them. And there are a group of cowled, robed individuals, dressed all in white, standing in a circle, their heads down, facing inward.
Thank you for listening to Ain't Slayed Nobody. For ad-free episodes, lots of bonus content, and special programming, please join our wolf pack at patreon.com/ain'tslayed, or subscribe to Ain't Slayed Nobody Plus at Apple Podcasts. Nothing helps the show more than becoming a subscriber. See our show notes for full credits, and help us grow by posting friendly reviews and spreading the word to your friends and followers. Thank you, and good luck out there.